Why aren't you healed yet? Plus 7 other questions that I try to avoid during my concussion recovery. In the beginning of my concussion recovery, I never thought that something could last this long. I remember my doctor told me that it could take weeks. Now I wish that it could only take in weeks instead of years. Not all comments are helpful during your concussion recovery. People around me made lots of comments. They tried to help me, but not all comments were helpful. I always felt pressure for people around me to get better sooner than I did, especially from work. I often get the question, when are you coming back? Or the worst comment, aren't you better yet? When someone asked that question, I didn't know how to respond. It made me feel sad because getting better was the only thing that I wanted so badly. If someone says something like that, it feels like confirmation that things are not going well. It was also hard not to know the answer to that question. I was looking for answers all the time during my first 2 years, and being confronted by someone else wasn't helping at all. I know they didn't mean it like that. Most people don't know how to respond when you tell them that you're still not feeling well. In the first week, this wasn't any problem. People seemed to understand how I felt and that healing could take some time. But after the first months, people started to ask how I was doing, and I told them that I hadn't improved. And some people said, "You still aren't better yet?" I wasn't. I didn't even tell them that I felt worse than the last time they asked. I couldn't explain how it felt to feel so lost, frustrated, and disappointed at the same time. Disappointed because I tried to do everything to get better, but nothing was helping. When someone then asked that question, it felt like an extra kick in the ass. People don't know that you're struggling with symptoms every day. Some people only saw me for a short period of time, so they didn't notice how I was struggling. They didn't see me when I was at home, quarreling and crying in my bed. They didn't see how exhausted I was when I came home from a walk with a friend. When I was outside my house, I was mostly in my best mood. At home, I had to recharge, cried a lot, and I felt so lost and frustrated. I avoided people because of the confrontation. I truly wish that someone didn't ask me some questions. I didn't want to be confronted with it. I know people said things because they thought it would help me, but most of the time it was the other way around. It didn't help me at all. It made me feel sad, more lost, frustrated, and alone. So I started to avoid some social activities. There were more questions that I tried to avoid. What kind of work are you doing? Well, I couldn't work, but sometimes I just didn't want to explain this over and over to a stranger or to someone who wasn't close to me. My employer, when do you think you will be back at the office? I couldn't even bike to the office because of all the busy streets with the trams, bikes, so many people. I lived in Amsterdam and the office was in the center. The thought of going there and actually working behind my screen between a lot of people freaked me out. Why aren't you dating or why don't you have a boyfriend? I didn't have any energy to start dating. It was almost impossible to go to a restaurant. It felt like surviving. Meeting new people at a busy place was just no option at the beginning of my concussion recovery. When someone asked that question, I always said, I just want to focus on myself, and I believe the right person will come my way when it's time. Deep inside, I panicked and felt sad. If I was like this for the rest of my life, I would never be able to date again. Would I always be alone? They had no idea that I wanted nothing more than having a relationship and living a normal life. Why are you canceling again? I had to cancel so many activities, and people didn't understand why. Some said, but it will help you to focus on something different than your symptoms. They had no idea that when you're having a bad day, when something is not possible, it's not a matter of focusing on something else. It's the same as you say to someone with a broken leg, come on, just walk on it. Focus on something different and you will forget about it. Don't you think it's just because you're getting older? This is a classic question, right? When someone says this, it's definitely not helping. It makes me feel so misunderstood. Yes, of course we are getting older, but this has nothing to do with that. Deep inside, I wished it was just getting older. Do you want to come over and just watch some television to relax? It seems like everyone around me doesn't get it that watching television is something not that relax my mind. It makes my symptoms worse, and I have a hard time watching it, especially in the beginning. Right now, I can watch television a bit longer, but I still get symptoms, and it's not relaxing for me. What do you need to get rid of your concussion symptoms? I wish I knew what would help me. People try to help, and I appreciate that a lot. But I felt so lost, tried so many things, and almost nothing seemed to help me. When people asked me this question, I felt stuck. I had no answer and wasn't sure if I would ever answer this question. These are the questions I didn't like at all during my concussion recovery. It took me a lot of energy and it made me feel more frustrated and hopeless in my journey. What about you? Do you feel the same? What did people ask during your journey? I would love it if you sent me a message on Instagram or an email with the answer. For now, wishing you a good day and I hope to see you in the next episode. I want to end this episode by letting you know that I received a lot of questions about what helped me in my journey. To answer all these questions, I wrote an ebook. Inside this ebook, you will read about what 7 things helped me the most in my concussion journey. These 7 things helped me to reduce my fatigue, to have more energy, to improve my sleep, to feel less stressed, and to be able to exercise again. You can download it for free and receive it right away in your inbox. Click on the link in the description or go to my website, theconcussioncommunity.com. It's the first thing you will see. I hope it's helping you.